Sam, the Frugal Hugel gardener. I've been working on my chicken run and other things around the property, putting netting over my fruit trees and so forth. And I've been neglecting some of my banana plants. So today I'm going to harvest a few banana racks. We're in the end of February right now, going into March. This is the month we normally get a freeze, but we've been having some cold spells, so the ripening process has been a little slower. And I looked at the 30-day forecast. We may get lucky in March and not have a freeze. I don't know. But this here has been ripening. I've been coming by, and when they get a little soft, I've been harvesting one and eating it and giving it to some friends when they come over. But now's the time. I'm going to go ahead and harvest this one. And I got some other ones in my hugelculture area that need to come down. They're Cavendish and Grand Nain, and some of them are splitting. They look like they're starting yellow, but not quite, and they're still hard. But I have to harvest them, give some to my chickens, put some in the house. It's just that time. So with that said, let's go ahead and harvest a couple banana racks. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to go ahead and remove the supports like that. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this and bring it down to the ground and then remove this the easy way. So I got a nice saw right here. I use this one all the time. It's a Carolina, super sharp. Only takes 1 or 2 tugs to cut that a third of the way through. You don't want to go half of the way, it'll come down hard. Just about a third of the way and you pull it down. So I'm going to cut this about chest level so it comes down. Look at that, one little cut and it's already coming down. I'm just going to help it. Okay, just like that. Okay, so you can see I gently put it down to the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this stalk off right here. And now, as you can see, I got a nice banana rack that needs to come in the house. And you can see right over here, that's where I've been taking some off and eating them out here and giving some away. But this one here is ready to go into the house. So let me set it down and cut the rest of the banana plant down. Okay, so as you know, I like cutting the remainder of the leaves off because I feed them to my chickens. Okay, now this stalk's going to come off, just like that. Now using this, I'm going to cut the rest of this down. Basically because I don't want to swing the machete and hit something else. Okay, that's removed. Got some more leaves I could trim up over here. So, I harvested that. The banana plant is now on the ground, and I have those leaves to give to my chickens. Let's go ahead and harvest some other ones real quick. Okay, so this Namwa over here has been taking a long time to ripen. So I haven't come in here in a couple days, and we had a lot of rain, so some of them split. It's ripening. I'm going to give most of them to my chickens, so let's cut it down. So first things first, I want to go ahead and get this out of the way if I could. Go ahead and cut this off. The bud is going to my chickens. Okay, this is up tall and I want to lower it down. So using this, I'm going to give it a little cut. Okay, you can see one hand I lowered it. You can see I cut it about 1/3 of the way through, and then I lowered it to the ground. Now that it's on the ground, I'm going to cut some of these leaves off. These are going to my chickens. I give pounds and pounds and pounds of banana leaves to my chickens constantly. They strip off all the leaves like spaghetti. You've seen it in other videos and you'll see it today. And the remainder that browns goes on the ground, and I leave it there because then they scratch under it at nighttime. The frogs come in, the little insects come in and they hide under it. And when they scratch, they get all the insects. Without that, you would just have sand and you wouldn't have places for the bugs to hide. So I leave the Seminole pumpkin squash in there and they hide under it at night, because the chickens eat the inside, eat the pulp and all that, and then the outside, they eat that in a couple days when it gets a little softer, and the bugs, they scratch it, and underneath it, it's like a cup. You turn it over, and there's a bug under it. They love it. Okay, so now that this is on the ground, I can just go like this and cut it. Okay, it's a nice banana rack, but you can see they're splitting, and that's okay. I'm not going to eat those, although you could, but they're going to my chickens. And I'll just take that rack and I'll put it in the chicken run, and they'll eat all the yellow ones, and the green ones will start turning, and they'll just go right through the peel and get what they want. And then when it gets softer, they just continue eating it. So give them something to do. They'll chew on that for a couple of days. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to cut the rest of this down. Real easy. Just take the machete. I cut that down. Move it out of the way. Now I'm going to take this because I don't want to hit any surrounding plants. And I cut it so it came in between this replacement right there. So that's done. That's harvested. Let me move all this stuff down to the end and we'll harvest another big rack. Okay, so this rack here has been growing for a long time. These are grand names. They're looking good. They got specks on them from insects, fruit flies, or what have you biting, but that's okay. And you can see they're starting to crack. We had a lot of rain that might have caused it, or now it's just time to harvest it. But I'm gonna harvest these and they're going to my chickens. So first thing, I want to go ahead and remove this. Okay. And you can see things are browning because of the weather. Now I could just harvest this, but it looks heavy. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring it down to the ground real easy. Okay, so you can see I moved it to the ground nice and gentle. Ugh. Okay, you can see it's a nice rack, but it is splitting. I have plenty in the house, so my chickens are gonna get this. Ooh. That's a heavy rack. So now I want to cut the rest of this down. Those leaves are yellowing, so I'm not going to give it to my chickens. Okay, so I removed that. I harvested that for the chickens. I think there's some more I gotta get. Let's go take a look. Okay, so these over here are Cavendish, and they also, with the cold weather and the rain, they got spots on them. I'm gonna go ahead and look these all over and see if any of them are split, and if not, I'm gonna leave them. Okay, these are looking good. Okay, that's looking good. That's looking really nice. You see this plant, all but a little bit of it is green, but it's still supplying nutrients to this, and it's looking good. And since we're not going to have, hopefully, we're not going to have a big freeze come up, hopefully all these will continue ripening nicely. And I even have more coming in. Okay, all the rest over here are looking good. Yep, these are all looking good. I got new ones coming in. Those are all looking good. These up here are all looking good. All looking good. Got some new ones coming in. If we have a hard freeze, The new ones are not going to be good, but all the rest the chickens will get. All looking good. New one coming in. New one coming in, another bud up there. A new one coming in there. So as you can see, all these are at different stages and they're looking good. That was the only one that was splitting. So that's 3 racks I just harvested. Now, I don't mind cutting down racks and giving it to my chickens, just like I don't mind giving them my Seminole pumpkins and stuff like that, because chicken feed, you know, it's about $150 a month. When I give them other things like bananas, the leaves, the peels, the Seminole squash pumpkin, and other things around the property, I pull out weeds and give it to them. They eat it all, and that's just a good variety of nutrients. Okay, so let me go ahead and get all this and all the leaves and everything and bring it over there, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so as you can see, I just lay them up and over. By the end of the day or by the end of tomorrow, they're going to be stripped clean. They got Seminole pumpkins down there. They got other grass and weeds I put in here this morning. They got banana leaves, and they get their daily organic from the silo, from the feed mill feed. So they're happy. Plus, all of their water comes out of nipples up here and nipples down there. See the water come out? So even when it's hot out, they got plenty of water that comes out of a 35-gallon pickle barrel. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do before I bring those bananas in the house and cut some off and give it to the chickens, I'm going to give you an update on a little banana tour. And we're in February, the end of February. March is coming up in a couple days. Usually in March we have a hard freeze and all my banana plants will be all brown, 100%. But the 30-day forecast looks like it's going to be like the upper 40s, 50s, and 60s at nighttime. So let's just go ahead and do a updated video tour. Okay, so you can see I got a rack here. Another real nice rack up there. I'm going to walk around the outside first. Another nice rack. Another one hiding up in there. Another nice rack here. Another one right here. Right there. Right over there by my chicken run. Here's another nice rack. Another nice rack there. Here's another nice rack. Okay, so right over here is the net. It's a good twine string mesh net surrounding my peach tree, and if you look, there's peaches and blossoms, more coming in. The peaches are all different sizes. This tree here is loaded with more coming in. In a few months, I'm going to be a happy camper, and the birds are not going to eat them all on me. Okay, so here's another rack. Oh, there you go. This one needs to be cut down. There's some yellowing. Here's a nice rack. I just love this rack. Look how thick that stock is. Look how big this rack is. They're coming in beautiful. Look how thick this plant is. That's like a textbook banana plant. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I just hope it makes it to ripe on the plant, and there's no hard freeze coming up. Okay, so as you can see, I got a really nice one coming in here. Look at the size of that. Beautiful. Here's another nice one coming in. Look at the size of that. That's beautiful. Okay, so this is the one I cut down before. Here's a new one coming in. The cold affected that. It's a smaller rack. I'll probably cut that down. Here's another rack right here. It's looking okay. Now all these, I see the pollinators are on, but I pull these out and my chickens get them. Okay, here's a small one. The chickens are going to get that. Here's another one that looks like the cold got that a little bit. And right over here I got one. And right over there's another. You can see this one was coming in and the cold got it. So this rack, I'm cutting down this whole plant. I'm not going to try to keep that. This one here, the cold got it. I'm going to cut it down. Okay, over here, this one and that one were looking good. You can tell the cold got it a little bit, but it's still looking good. Here's a new one coming in right here. Looks like the cold affected it. And right up here is another one. Okay, so this one here, you can see the cold got it. Blue Java does not take cold real good. This one's looking okay. Up. Here's one that's yellowing. I'm gonna have to cut this one down. Here's one on the ground. This is going to my chickens. I'll pull that off. Okay, so I got to come back and harvest this one. And here's another one. All my loquat trees are loaded. I have one that I've been harvesting and eating on. There's a net over it. I still got to net this one up. Most of them are still green, so I got time. But I just noticed right over here, it looks like a nice one. Very tasty. So usually when I walk around, if I see a ripe one, I'll stop, bite off the bottom. The rest of it is good, and I'll eat it. Why not? It's a good treat. So that's how I generally eat them. Bite off the tip, put it in my mouth, spit out the seeds. Hey, get some on you. Most of the time my hands are dirty. Quick and easy, and it tastes good. Okay, so over by the pond, you can see my plants are browning. It's got bananas on it. Here's another one with bananas on it. Another banana rack. Another one coming in. Another banana rack. One out there hanging over the lake. Another banana rack. And there's probably some I'm missing. Like, look at that one. That is about 18 foot tall. Do you see that new bud? That is a really, really tall Namwa. It's like 18 feet, and they're dwarf. But each year the dwarfs get taller. There's one right up in there. Like you say, some are hiding. Here's another one right there. And there's probably a few more I'm missing. Here's my silver stripe bamboo. See how straight they are? These are gonna get to be like 25 plus feet tall, 30 foot tall, and 2 inches round, thick, and you can't put your finger in it. It's a really thick wall one. And I'm going to use these to prop up my banana plants. Soon as March comes along, in another 2 weeks, I'm going to go ahead and separate some of these and plant them. Well, I'm going to pot them, and once the roots form, because you got to cut them out with a sawzall, then around April or May, I'm going to go ahead and plant them where I want them to grow. Okay, right over here, you remember I went ahead and planted 2 rows of purple and green sugarcane. You see the rows here. This will be coming in soon. I can't really weed because I don't want to tear up the dirt. And right over here is where I cut these back and they were under the dirt. I cut them all down, I harvested them, and you seen I was making sugarcane juice. These are coming in. I already cut those a couple of times when we had a cold spell and I piled more dirt on. But if we don't have a cold spell, I'll just let them come up like that. Now right over here, these right here are sea breeze bamboo. This is a nice batch, and if you look, these are really good for a hedgerow. They get to be 35 foot tall, and they fill in and they stay evergreen all year long. Some of the leaves will yellow and fall, but it stays thick and it stays evergreen, and you could cut them and trim them just like you do a hedge and top them off. But I'm going to let these grow, and I'm going to come over here and separate them, and I'm going to go ahead and plant some privacy barrier hedgerow with them. Okay, so this round section, I got plenty of bananas coming in all the way around, and on the other side. I don't want to get back there right now. Some of them the cold got, and they're small, and some of them are nice and thick. This one's going to be my next one to ripen. And that goes all the way down around. If you can see really hard, there's racks all throughout. Same thing over there, I got racks coming in. So let's go down this way. Okay, so these three right over here, you remember those real small ones that I planted? And I was doing the fertilizer test. Look how big they came in, and they got some pups coming in. They're looking really nice. I got some blue java. You can see the cold got to it. Look how blue these are. They're looking good, but it looks like I don't know how they're gonna come along with the cold we had and stuff. You can see the cold got to those. Got some more up on top coming in, brand new. Hopefully we don't have a cold spell. These here look like they're going to be ripening soon. Same thing with that. Okay, right over here is a nice rack. Looks like the cold got to it. Looks like the cold got to it. So you can see the cold on the younger banana fruit. Sometimes the cold, it depends on which way the wind's blowing and how cold it is and stuff. And sometimes it gets it. I'm gonna cut those down. What could you do? Let new ones in April come in, and I'll have a whole new harvest growing. Okay, so the same thing over here. I got silver stripe. They're growing nice and straight. They're gonna get to be about 2 inches. The thick wall, perfect for propping up bananas. I'm gonna go ahead and separate some of those like I'm gonna do with the other one and transplant some. Right over here is netting over my loquats. I've been in there like every other day or so eating them. We did have a rain come in and they split. Well, they're self-healing, so they heal, and some of them just don't make it. The ones that aren't looking good, like those, I'll harvest them and give them to my chickens. I'll just take out the seeds. And over here, you can see all these peaches coming in over here, and there's more blossoms on it. You got the leaves coming in. It's looking good. So things are happening. Okay, so right over here I got a nice rack coming in. This plant last year had curly leaf on it. I went ahead and gave it the minerals it needed. 20-20-20, and look at that. Saved the plant. Really nice rack coming in. Okay, right over here is a really nice sea breeze. I planted this here so it shades my chicken coop. Do you see that? You can't even see the chicken coop behind it. Okay, so let me get up in here. So when you trim off the outside leaves to make a walkway, you see how nice these look right here? Nice and thick. These are also good for propping up banana plants, but I'm going to go ahead and go down on the bottom. And I'm going to cut a number of these out on this side. Going to pot them, and I'm going to make a hedgerow in the back. Now, when I got these, they were just in like 1 gallon pots. They were, you know, super thin and only about 2 feet tall or less. And in the spring, I planted them. So this here is from April all the way till March right now. A lot of growth. You got to wait till March to go ahead and separate them. You don't want to separate them when they're growing in the middle of summer. So let them grow, and then eventually you'll cut them. Now, these were like $110 shipped to me for 2. So now that I probably got about 30 of them to separate, times that by $55 each. So when you grow your own, you could go ahead and separate them and continue with your hedgerow. No reason to go out, unless you're in a hurry, to go ahead and buy 50 of these when you could just buy 1 or 2, grow them, and a year later separate them. You save all that money. And since I'm the Frugal Hugel gardener, that's all I did. I bought 4. I let them grow in 4 different corners of the property, and in a couple weeks I'm going to go ahead and start separating them, and I'll show you them on video. Okay, hey y'all, I'm Sam the Frugal Hugel gardener. I'm standing here in front of one of my banana racks. We are in the end of February. Another few days is going to be March. We had some cold spells, but it did not affect this rack right here. And between now and April, it doesn't look like we're going to have a cold spell, although you never know what's going to happen, because the news, so the only person that could get a job and be wrong 99% of the job is a newscaster. But it's looking good. These are going to be harvested here probably within the next month. I don't know. And we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, I'm going to give a little tour on what's going on and what's growing around the property. So let's go check out what's happening. Okay, so this is the one I showed you a few minutes ago. It's ripening. I'm going to go ahead and cut it down. It looks like it's attached to this one right there. Okay, so you can see how I brought it down gently. I'm going to cut that off. Cut off the bud. I got a nice rack. I'm going to give those to my chickens right now. The chickens are going to get the bud. And the chickens are going to get these leaves. Okay, now I'm going to cut down the rest of the plant. Okay, so right over here earlier we seen that this one was ripening. I'm going to go ahead and harvest it. Cut off the bud. Now I'm going to bring the rack down real slow. Okay, so now that I brought it down, I'm going to remove the leaves for my chickens. I'm going to cut the rack off. Okay, here's another nice rack. This is for my chickens. Okay, I want to cut down the rest of the plant. Okay, there you go. Okay, so you seen me harvest and cut down some bananas. Some racks are going in the house. I'm going to cut off some over-ripening bananas and some splitting bananas and give it to my chickens. You seen I went ahead and fed them the leaves. I'm going to feed them the blossoms, the flower also. And I have more that I'm going to go in there and give them. So you seen I did a little tour also. So with that said, hope you enjoyed my video. Give me a like, give me a share. Come on over to my Facebook page. Come on over to my Facebook banana group. The link is in the description below. See you soon. Okay, so I'm going to cut some of these off of my chickens. Okay, those are for my chickens. Let's go cut some more for them. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over here. These are going to my chickens. I put more in there just to go to show you I could be eating these. Real tasty. Chickens are gonna love these. They eat the skin and everything. Very good. So, hey, you want to see some chickens eat some bananas? They attack them. They know what they are. They're going to go nuts. I already gave them some earlier, but they're still going to go nuts. Okay, I'm going to give the rest to my chickens over there. So you can see they're eating the bananas and they're eating the buds, the blossoms that I cut up.